All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone, here with John Burr. John, we are still here. How are you?
Oh man, just out here saving the children 24/7.
Elaborate.
Oh, I've got what's that? The new Jim Caviezel QAnon movie.
Oh, The Sound of Freedom.
I've got the Sound of Freedom ringing in my ears.
I took my kids to the Nashville
see Sound of Freedom.
No, yeah, they're great rate. They were giving away
every
tickets.
Member of your church a ticket at the end through
their
interesting model.
I took the kids to the downtown public library on Sunday afternoon, and
slash homeless shelter.
Yes. You sound like you're ready for a Sound of Freedom ticket, John.
Mm-hmm.
There were some protesters. I think they were protesters. There were people with lots of hand created posters. And the word pedophile was mentioned so many times. Oh, yeah. I was just speeding up.
And they weren't protesting a church. They were protesting a pizza place. Who knew?
Is that what? Yeah, could be. I don't know. They were lined up near a parking lot. So I don't know if that was the staging area and then they were then going to a place, but I didn't know anything objectionable about the specific parking lot they were standing in front of. But yeah, no, I haven't seen Sound of Freedom. I haven't seen Oppenheimer. I haven't seen Barbie. I did see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. John, you cinephile. Also, you've been well, those synonyms.
Sad man.
Yeah. You've also been laid up with this catastrophic knee injury. Have you been able to enjoy the cinema that you've been wanting to?
Yeah, because I've basically been like Toradol and juiced up in weight because I actually have my real surgery this week, but
yeah,
I had minor procedures and then shot up with like lubricants and steroids. So I've been just kind of gritting and grinding and just going to the theater anyways.
Knee lubricants?
Despite not having anything more than sometimes crutches, no wheelchair, I will, as I think is my right, my God-given Sound of Freedom right, I've been sitting in the handicap spots.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone is going to object when they see you loading in and out of one of those seats, right?
I hope not. Well, I am filled with fear.
When I took my kids to the library in the parking garage, there's parking spots for special needs, and it specifies caregivers with children.
I got ADHD.
No, but it was caregivers with children, and I'm like, okay. I got a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. I'm parking right by the front door. Why not?
You give them lots of care / Lego.
I left a couple spots. I thought maybe someone with more need might come. We went when it opened at 2 p.m. There was no one nearby. The library's open for a very narrow 3-hour block. It's what our taxes have allowed, a 3-hour block on Sundays for the unhoused to come inside, get a little air conditioning, maybe play with the giant chessboard. But yeah, that's what I did on Sunday. John, a bit of news. I don't know if everyone knows. You know. A lot of our Patreons know, but we're no longer with Grind City Media. I don't know if the word has totally gotten out. The upside, no more Grizzly season ticket ads. If you haven't purchased your tickets yet, sorry, I'm not going to help you anymore. We're also not going to let you know who's playing at the FedEx Forum, but we might accidentally because sometimes we get excited. But we're in the next chapter of Fast Break Breakfast, and frankly, I don't think we know exactly what it's going to look like, but alas, here we are, you and me, John, talking about basketball and breakfast. I will say one of the conditions of the contract that I had with Grind City Media is we had to limit the number of things we could do on Patreon. They weren't cool about us putting things behind the paywall that could be called an episode. So now we can actually put episodes back on the paywall, and we will be utilizing that feature. Will the Millennial Brunch $500 croissant return? I would say yes, with certainty. We will be answering your questions over there. Will more episodes find their way behind the paywall? Possibly. We might experiment with that. Also, I'll probably be doing some Grizzlies mailbag stuff over behind, again, the paywall. So if you want to support the show, you want to, I don't want to say life support, but help the precarious existence of Fastbreak Breakfast. Patreon.com/FastBreakBreakfast.
I never knew what Grind City Media's impact on me was during this era.
Yeah.
But now it sounds like they were helping me do less work.
I think yes, they were
going to do more.
No, that was
so, in the long run, this seems good for me. It's going to build character.
Yeah, they did, in fact. There were pros and cons. Very enjoyable time. Will we do more work now? Maybe. Will we not do that work? Also strong maybe. To be determined. Yeah. The summertime is a grand experiment. And John, you remain very busy with your career. Can we talk? Are we
the grit? What?
Are we allowed to say
why era is over?
Yeah. Are we allowed to say why we couldn't record on Friday?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's we're about to launch our company website. So
okay. Like I think yeah. John, we are Fast Break Breakfast is literally the only basketball podcast that had to cancel a recording because Tony Bennett died. You're like, this is work. I got it. This is my job. I have to work on Tony Bennett's estate now. Yeah. Right. So.
And the people above me in the company, all of them were on a transatlantic flight when it all went down. So,
did they have to turn it around like Succession? Go back. We gotta go land.
Apparently I didn't do anything wrong. So
that's good.
Yeah, all good.
That's amazing. So the most esoteric of basketball podcasts we try to be, we will press on for you. Anyways, John, we've been doing it for almost 9 years now. What was your breakfast?
So I'm back on my acai BS.
Nice.
I think I had the right number of syllables for once. It's been very good to go back. There's a development because there's now a more bougie acai place that's closer to my house.
Yep.
To me, it's not as good. This might just be what I've gotten used to, but I don't want to abandon my teenage girls that give me my acai bowls because I feel like I feel like I've watched them grow up now. It's only been a year, but I've seen so many changes in their personalities and fashion.
Thank you for saying personalities, but keep going. Just wrap this up quickly.
And it's much like my Sonic waitresses. I can't abandon them.
Right. You feel the loyalty. You're a loyal customer. Always have been.
Right. I like to build communities.
You're a patron. You could say.
But I gotta say, this bougie place, you can it's like they have sandwich artists for your acai bowls, basically, and you get to pick the ingredients. Yep. And as I become more learned in the ways of acai accoutrement, I may have to make this you know those house divided household things where it has Roll Tide and Go Big Orange. Right, I may have to do both at some point.
And when I say bougie, what are your two houses?
Over the $15 threshold.
Your two houses are expensive, very privileged person smoothie bowl, and then what's the other one? Just diner food, McGaw's.
No.
What's the house divided?
Slightly less expensive, bougie acai bowls. Oh, we're talking a difference of.
We're talking a house divided between two.
But at one of them,
yours is house divided Duke basketball, Duke lacrosse or something. It's just not.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
At one of them, I'm being served by a person who's a teenager. It's their first job. And then at the other one, it's just a guy who looks like you.
Yeah. Good. Well,
so there might be, he really needs
that other one might be paying more money. I mean, it's like in Vegas where all the servers and workers are all 90. And it's just, by the way, speaking of your acai bowl, this reminds me of a tale from Las Vegas that I did not tell last week. I mean, it's hard to squeeze it all in like, 70 minutes or so. There was this like juice bar, smoothie bowl, rehydration, hangover cure, restaurant kiosk place.
So that's like the new place.
Yeah. So this is what they had in the Aria. And again, I'm staying at a bougie, very expensive hotel. However, at this smoothie bowl place, which I walked by to go pick up my one donut and coffee, which, cost $13 total, I saw what I will say is the most stunning and striking woman I've ever seen in my entire life. Notably, almost 6'10" comfortably. 6'10".
Whoa, are you sure this wasn't Al Horford?
This is like 8 a.m. in the morning, spectacularly dressed in like, I don't know how to describe clothing, but it was like a leather, not leather, but like a almost cowhide looking. It was like brown, like a mini skirt with matching boots and a vest, and had like jewelry, bracelets, necklace, earring. And again, 6'10" and stunning. I've never seen a woman that tall, that beautiful. It was like something out of the Amazonian slum, like the Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say
like where they've CGI'd the height of the people, but this person was just real. And I was like, is that a WNBA player? I started Googling like who are the tallest WNBA players, and like none of them really matched.
Probably up. Like a one of those, like they have they're not freak shows anymore, but they have like Vegas versions of the old freak shows. I'm trying to remember. Absinthe. It was probably an Absinthe performer.
It could
Strong
be
woman.
I mean, but like it was again, it's basically there's before 6'10" woman and after 6'10" woman for me. Right. In the life. I never seen anything like it. Something changed. I also
pretty tall though.
Yeah. She's tall for a girl.
Get her some large platform shoes.
It honestly felt like a thing where
this dream a reality.
You could imagine a movie director just seeing this person and being like, "Hey, we're building a movie around you." Because it was like, where do you find this? Like, does Absinthe pay enough? That's
essentially what happened with Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Anyways, my breakfast. I'll tell you what I did not have. I did not have the Dunkin' Donuts left over from Friday. I think I found the end sale date or the usable by date. I'd say 3 days. Friday donut. Picked it up on Monday, brought it close to my face. No, sir. Texture was wrong. It seemed tough. It was a chocolate cake donut with chocolate icing. Very decadent. It had not been eaten over the weekend. It was still there. I considered it, but no, sir. I turned it away. So I remain hungry. As of this recording, I've only had black coffee so far. Anyways, those were our breakfasts. After our breakfasts, we move to our breakfast in bed. Apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong in a previous episode. It is frequently the first time we talk about the NBA, which the show is supposed to be about. John, it's been a couple weeks for us. Is there anything that you need to make right that's been eating away at you? Any errors that need to be atoned for?
My apologies, probably 9 years in the making, because I feel like the adjectives I've used to describe Steph Curry are things like amazing, best, all time.
Yeah.
I certainly never used the adjective underrated, which is the name of the documentary film he's just released about himself.
Yeah.
Which I guess maybe that makes sense when you're like making a movie about yourself, and maybe the onus was on him to pick an adjective, and that was like the nicest thing he could muster about himself. But underrated seems like a strange name for a documentary about Steph Curry. But I'm going to correct that, and I will refer to him as the underrated Steph Curry going forward. It felt like he was properly rated, but maybe not.
Is this underrated as far as his golf game? Maybe we hadn't.
I don't even think that's true. He had a hole in one. On
I know. I didn't know he could do that.
no one has ever had a hole in one on that hole. So like,
yeah,
I did enjoy him sprinting across the putting surface and just thinking about the old white dudes getting madder than hell that someone's running.
Well, I really wondered. I'm not much of a golf fan. I did feel like perhaps he broke an unwritten rule with the celebration. Well, I don't, just act like you've been there. A little bit of composure. And I think the etiquette is to maybe a fist pump, but even that, you only want to pump it like once. You don't want to get excessive. I thought Tiger Woods personally pushed it too far with the fist pumps.
You and many other men. I like, Tiger Woods fist bumps were too far, but Chichi Rodriguez.
No, that's just flair. That's colorful
celebrations.
Flair.
Yes, that's festive. But I'm going to make sure. I'm glad I've been corrected on Steph Curry's moniker. I don't think I'll be watching that movie as much as I enjoy Steph Curry's game. Their self-marketing, he and his wife's a little overly nauseating for me. So, but I can't escape it. I guess my Apple TV or whatever throws ads at me knows that I watch only basketball. So it's the only thing that pops up on my recommendations on any device is Steph Curry underrated.
I mean, I guess it's if you go back to his draft, the fact that
you'd have to go back to his
Hasib the Beat was taken over him.
Sure,
Ricky
but we're
Rubio
still doing stuff like that.
But it's been a while. I think it was Joey Devine who suggested that if you come out with if you self-finance a documentary about yourself, you need to allow your greatest hater to also do one. We got to have some balance in the world. Your Oppenheimers have to have your Barbies. If you come out with a hagiography that you financed yourself, you gotta let somebody at the very least come out with like, this is why Steph Curry stinks.
Underrated. Like, who hates Steph? Everyone likes Steph.
He's so popular.
We like Steph, and we hate the Warriors deeply.
Yeah, I would say Steph Curry.
Thompson.
Steph Curry is undeniably popular.
Yes.
Even with his what's that holy moly show? I mean, come on. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
Can we even trust that hole in one was real, considering he has a hole in one television program?
Also, because of wasn't that a Nike ad where he was like shooting like 90 footers and they were going in? And I'm like, you don't have to fake this because we know Steph Curry can make 90 footers. I feel like it's one of those things.
Underrated.
Practical effects versus digital effects. Maybe.
You can't be that if you were to see the budgets that go into making the behind the scenes videos look like they're doing real effects when they're not, it's staggering.
So this goes back to the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning thing. I feel like to truly enjoy that movie, I enjoyed that movie. I don't want to criticize it because I did enjoy it a lot. But I
saw it with Joey Devine, by the way.
I thought, man, big Joey Devine episode. I thought the major stunts in the film had baked in that you were supposed to know things about them through their Twitter and Instagram campaign, because they're like, hey, we actually wrecked this train for real. But in the movie, there's only like one shot that lasts for like 1 second where it like looks like, oh yeah, that actually was maybe a train. The rest of it is all digital painting of the background. You're like, or I've seen Mission.
I also
the
think
motorcycle jump.
Up. Yeah, but I think they screw it up because I have had lots of friends complain about how fake the motorcycle jump looks, even though they know they did it, just because all the digital painting, etc. Yeah,
like I've seen
making the ramp into a mountain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I saw that ramp, the real ramp, on Twitter a lot, and then when in the movie, I'm like, wait, I know that's a ramp, and that mountain. Now that I'm looking at it, like now I know that's totally fake. Like that took me out of it. So I
enjoyed the Mission Impossible movie.
Oh, sure.
But friend of the show, Eric Wilson, probably ruined it forever for me by asking me at the end of the movie, hey man, if Vin Diesel had been doing all that stuff, do you think you'd have liked it so much? And I had to go splash water on my face in the bathroom of the theater. Because honestly, that was pretty Fast and Furious level type stuff in this one. When we get to the Harold Lloyd train sequences and stuff, there was not a shade of believability left remaining, you know.
But, right.
I'd still like to say that there was more craftsmanship to it, and I enjoyed the characters more. But I don't know if I can honestly say whether or not this is just Cruz fetishism.
Here's where I'll push back with Eric. Yes, rewind that entire movie and just give me Ving Rhames doing everything. Yeah, I'm in 100%. Ving Rhames doing the motorcycle jump. Yes, please. Ving Rhames flying through a train window on a parachute. Yeah, sign me up. I'm in. Oh, my apology. I'm trying to figure out where we are on the show. My apology, John. Last week or 2 weeks ago when we recorded, I was in Vegas. I was making fun of the Charlotte Hornets. I was specifically making fun of Brandon Miller, Nick Smith Jr. And I want to say I posted that episode at like 1 p.m. Pacific time. By 3 p.m. Pacific time, those guys had combined for 59 points in a 40-minute basketball game. So normally we're very used to this. After the years of doing the show, you see a thing, you see a stat spike, you highlight it, you talk about it, you have a whole segment prepared on it, and then of course it just swings the other way. It immediately regresses or returns to the mean. This one was that Brandon Miller and Nick Smith Jr. Both had huge games immediately after saying they looked absolutely horrible. I mean, overall for Summer League, I can still point out that like this Nick Smith guy scored 86 points on 83 field goal attempts. Okay, that's terrible. And he had 19 assists to 17 turnovers for a guard. Maybe not great, but he did score over and over and over in a one possession game against a very, very fun Trailblazers Summer League team. So I apologize there. Also apologies, I told Hornets fans that they could bail if they wanted to. I gave them my blessing, my permission. Like if you want to leave. But I don't know. Like, do you think that changes now that Michael Jordan has sold his stake in the franchise and he's do you buy in that, hey, this is a rebirth? The 13-year reign of terror of Michael Jordan as owner is over?
If I were a Hornets fan, I would have some hope. I do think this is a step in the right direction. So I don't know if we can say it's a rebirth, but you got to get the poison out. Like it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Grizzlies fans went through. We had a thing where, like, when Chris Wallace was gone, did it mean everything was fixed? No, but did it mean we no longer had spaghetti and meatballs all over our bibs? Yes.
Can we revisit just the moment, like a reminder just for people? When Chris Wallace, who was the old general manager of the Grizzlies, was fired, and JB Bickerstaff was fired when he was the coach of the Grizzlies. This is before the new era where Zach Kleiman was promoted and Taylor Jenkins was hired. Before all that happened, the Grizzlies went to like their exit interview, whatever it's called, the media day, the day after the end of the season. And like Chris Wallace was like, yeah, JB Bickerstaff's going to be our coach next year. I don't anticipate any big changes. We're on a good trajectory. We have a great plan. What is the plan? We'll come up with the plan. He also told people to stop listening to the media. The media is too negative. He said this to the media at the postseason wrap up. 2 hours later, they were both fired. So like, and we were of course recording live, and we spontaneously burst out into a Battle Hymn of the Republic rendition. That clip is still readily available on, I believe, Twitter /X and on YouTube. No, Michael Jordan out as the owner of the Hornets. Did you see this? That one governor voted against the deal?
Yeah, it was our boy.
Yeah, James Dolan.
Mm-hmm. The Sphere Master.
The Sphere Master. That was what I thought. I assume Michael Jordan said something negative about the Sphere.
I'm in biz with the Dolan man. My Dolomite. That's my guy.
Dolomite's your guy.
Let's go.
How do we get the what will it take to get like maybe just 30 seconds of the frying pan logo on the Sphere?
On the Sphere?
That's all I need. 30 seconds.
I just want to do Chuck's head tilting and turning for 16 seconds. I imagine it would be millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah, I saw something where like they said the Sphere is supposed to bring in like $25 million in advertising revenue a year. And my thought was, that's all?
Yeah.
It seemed like it would cost so much money per day to put up an ad I mean, that's why the NBA had to start taking money from the Qatari Wealth Fund to advertise Summer League on the James Dolan Sphere.
It's all Saudi money now, baby.
I got a couple more apologies before moving to our steak and eggs. Here's another Summer League
apology cast
that I thought was kind of fun.
Sponsored by Grind City Media.
Yeah. Apologies for everything we did there, guys. Apologies for making fun of Marcus Smart in the Hustle Award. They got the last laugh there.
Apologies for not knowing how to talk about gambling for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, technically we talk about gambling more now. But I was listening back and I was talking about Kobe Buffkin, and I was like, Kobe Buffkin looked really good in like the one half I watched him play. Apparently, I saw 75% of the 3-pointers Kobe Buffkin made at Summer League in that one half. He was 4 for 29 for Summer League on 3-pointers. I saw 3 of them. They looked real good. So apologies there.
That's how it was for me with Ian Clark at Belmont. I saw like his 3 greatest games.
Ian Clark, I don't know if you remember, Summer League legend. One of the greatest Summer League players of all time. Ian Clark, world champion Ian Clark, that is. Also, here is a mixture, half apology, half kudos to me. We had a croissant question in the previous episode about the Spurs media team assembling the Lego Eiffel Tower for Victor Wembanyama. And the Spurs were like, this took us 15 hours to assemble. And we had a question asking me, Lego Master, self-proclaimed that is, 15 hours seems high, Keith. Do you think that's right? And my answer was, I don't actually know how long it would take, but I would guess 10 hours. 15 does feel high. Well, listener Tyler Cook found out that the world record for building the Lego Eiffel Tower, 9 hours, 14 minutes. So maybe 10 would have been pretty quick. All right, if the world record's 9:14, maybe 10 is pretty quick. Maybe it's more reasonable to go 15. But also, I do feel like I kind of nailed it. And this is a world record where I got to think, how many people have tried? I'm going to say less than 12. I'm going to say, how many people have bought an $800 Lego set and then tried to time themselves to see how fast they can do it? I'm going to go 10 to 15. Muted.
I'm going to say the same number of people you fight over the Legos loose baggies section in McKay. I say that's a good barometer.
Yeah. So that would be that'd be 2 to 4. Okay. I will say.
Are we doing kudos to me? Because I
save it.
Want some okay.
Pocket it. We'll have the kudos to me segment near the end of the show. No, John, the McKay's loose Lego bin. I didn't go for like a month. It felt like a month. It might have just been 10 days. I went back and it was depressing. All the big pieces were gone. It was just bits. It was just an
inside man
of sand and like things that have fallen off kids' fingers as they dig through them. I mean, they were still sort of full, but you could tell. I mean, maybe someone had come through and just scooped out all the good stuff, in the previous day. I'm still going to keep going in and out. I do have to find that inside man, but it was pretty sad. But those were our apologies. Before we move to our steak and eggs best thing, just going to talk to you not about gambling, John, about fantasy sports for money. There is a distinct difference. We have partnered with Underdog Fantasy, which, good news, these are the people who took over Draft. And Draft, if you remember, was one of my favorite apps ever, where you could do private daily fantasy against, like we could do it with our listeners. And so Underdog Fantasy has picked up the mantle. I am not going to do much of it until the NFL season starts, but they do it for fantasy baseball. They do it for MLS soccer. They have it for, they also have regular fantasy, like best ball stuff, season-long best ball contest. They have NFL contests open. They have NBA contests are already open, but this is the thing I really enjoy doing. And if you sign up now, using our promo code FBBF as in Fast Break Breakfast, they will match your opening deposit up to $100. This is legal in Tennessee. It's basically legal, I think, in almost we're talking like 44 states, totally above board. If you don't live in Tennessee, they have higher or lower things where you can predict, how many goals will Hani Mukhtar score over 0.5, and then you can build your guess there and have pretty big payouts up to 20 times your initial bet. If that sounds fun, again, I highlight the private fantasy head-to-head matches, which I really enjoy. My username, Fastbreak. You can find me on there, and we can play against each other. If you want to try all that out, do it at Underdog Fantasy, and then use that promo code FBBF for a free $100.
So in sports where it's harder to assemble a league of your actual friends that you know, like basketball and baseball, it's kind of harder to get a league of people you know as opposed to NFL where everyone plays fantasy. I do think these draft type games are the most fun you can have with your friends.
Well, they're super fun because it's a small rake where all right, the house is taking 10%, but like someone you know is going to win. That's what I like. That was my favorite thing about draft, where it's like, hey, one of the Patreon supporters is gonna, we can do a 3-person or a 5-person or a 10-person. It's delightful.
It's like a put up or shut up game. You can't blame your draft position. You can't blame
exactly.
There's no guy colluding in your league to ruin everything for everyone else.
Yep. I will also say, and I like to reemphasize our Patreon, because that is going to be where I'm going to drop my links for when I'm playing this stuff. Also, we'll be doing a fantasy football draft probably in 1 month. If you want to play fantasy football, you have to be a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. And then it's wild. I mean, we're like, 10 weeks away from the NBA season. That means we're like 6-7 weeks away from a negative fantasy draft and fantasy basketball drafts. If you want to play the listener drafts, you got to be a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, steak and eggs, best thing, John. What's the best thing you've been seeing? Got 2 weeks to work with. What's your best thing?
Well, I know this has come up a little bit, but for me, I've kind of had an epiphany regarding what the in-season tournament could be.
Yeah.
So I've long looked for something in my life that fits in with my NBA sicko status. And frankly, Summer League isn't something to excite me. The All-Star Weekend isn't something to excite me. I think this might be the type of thing where I could travel and meet up with other NBA fans, because the fact that there are stakes greatly enhances it for me. So I think this could become, and it's in a cool place. So I think this could become the type of thing that I've looked for a long time. So I'm just excited for an ancillary NBA event that actually has more meaning.
Yeah.
I hope
you're right. I think it's gonna be cool.
I could be really wrong, but for me, this could be really, meaningful. And like I go to these silly like Magic the Gathering tournaments and stuff, but that are like events, but they have meaning, they have stakes. I don't go just to watch the best young players or what have you. I like for there to be something at hand, and I have a hard time watching things that are meaningless. Like my love for the game is not such that I can't scout young players. I don't know, I don't have that in me, but if it's for something, I'm in.
I mean, it makes me sad that you can't, the thing you're looking for is Summer League. And I know there's no stakes, but this is where the sickos are. They're hanging out. You don't have to scout. You just watch the guys play. You're an opinionated person. The opinions will come to you.
I'm the pathetic guy who, how most people, like when they go, most serious NBA fans, if you hear they're sitting players or something, like, oh, good, I get to see the other. That's not me. Like when Ja Morant sits, I'm like devastated. Like, why did I come to this? I am the basic.
No, you're attending a game. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Like if I attend a game and the Stars aren't playing, I am sad. I don't want to see Kristaps Porzingis in street clothes. This is a shout out to 2018 when people were excited about Porzingis. No, you're right. I think the in-season tournament should be fun. Like again, the fact that the group play games are just regular season basketball games, just going to add an extra boost. It's going to be good for everybody's numbers. It's going to be good for content. It's going to be great for the league, I think.
I also think just sliding towards single elimination in any regard is always good for.
Single elimination is always awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah. Tournaments are always good. Single elimination, always awesome. I love it.
I think I prefer this to like even like the bubble and maybe theoretically.
I was thinking about this. I had planned to not mention Dame Lillard one time, But if Dame Lillard didn't have the bubble,
man.
if Dame Lillard didn't have the bubble, would we really be this carried away with the Dame Lillard trades? Anyways, there's that antagonistic thing thrown out. My best thing is I embrace my villain role. My best thing is the Phoenix Suns this offseason, who have made in the last, 4 months, 5 months, 2 of the most all-in trades you can ever make. They went and got Kevin Durant, and they gave away a bunch of good players and all their picks. They then said, screw it. We don't care what the new CBA says about being a tax team or a second apron team. We're going to literally give away everything picks-wise to take on the albatross salary of Bradley Beal. Do we care that his skills overlap with Devin Booker? It doesn't matter. We're going all in. We're going to try as hard as we can to win. We don't think we need Chris Paul. We're going to just rely on the talent of Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. We're going to be good. Then they started taking out a second mortgage on their pick swaps. Ishbia from the real estate business is like, you know what I could do? I've already swapped this pick. What if someone will give me something to further leverage it? I'm going to swap it again. And the Grizzlies stepped in and like, hey, cool. We'll take Isaiah Todd's contract from you, and we'll take these future bets, these long shot bets that maybe they turn out great for us, and we'll give you a few second-round picks. And so the story of this was, the Suns are recouping their draft assets so they can make more moves. Then I think we saw the true thing. They traded Campaign away. And the thing that makes this the best thing for me is they're already in cost-cutting mode. They made the 2 most all-in moves for like a 1.5 year, 2.5 year title window and are already cost-cutting because they don't actually want to go for it. Now, is Campaign very good? No.
Are they cost-cutting, or is this new leadership going, that guy's bad?
So here's the thing. Campaign, not very good basketball player. However, he has a couple of things, 2 parts to this. One, he is a category of player that I like to refer to as better than nothing.
I call them innings eaters.
Campaign is better than nothing. He was the only primary ball handler on the entire team. Yes, Devin Booker can play point guard, but you have 82 games plus 1 if you make the in-season tournament championship. You need someone just to dribble the ball up the court. Campaign loved being in Phoenix. Campaign took a sweetheart deal a couple years ago. He's like, pay me whatever. I'll stay. They just need someone to bring the ball up the court. I know they got Jordan Goodwin, who honestly, I rostered in negative fantasy last year, and he was too good. Had to get rid of him. So maybe he's something. All right. Maybe he's something. But they got rid of one of the only guys who can just handle the basketball in the regular season. They just functionally need a point guard. But even beyond that, even if you're like, you know what? He's a bad player. We don't need him. Campaign was the only matchable salary they had to bring in any help during the regular season. I thought the point of them adding extra people onto these first-round pick swaps was to pick up second-round picks. So then you could trade Campaign's $6.5 million salary plus 4 second-round picks for somebody else during the regular season to bring in extra help. I know they got a trade exception, but guess what? They're not going to use the trade exception. They did this deal purely to save like $30 million in luxury tax payments. And as someone who openly roots against the Suns, and now, by the way, has an actual basketball reason to root against the Suns. If the Grizzlies have a better record than them, we get to swap our draft pick with them. That's fun. So I am thrilled that Matt Ishbia is like, oh yeah, I want to win a title so bad that immediately after mortgaging our entire future in draft picks, I'm now going to focus on shedding my luxury tax payments because I don't actually want to pay the price of doing all these things. If they end up using the Campaign traded player exception, all right, I will give you the mea culpa. I will say, oh, okay, he was willing to spend. But this is purely a cost-cutting move, and I'm certain of it because the newsbreakers all pitched it as a basketball decision. And I'm listen, all right, posited. Why in the world are the newsbreakers giving me the basketball analysis of why this is actually a good thing? This is a good thing. So I'm cheering against the Suns. I'm excited that they have decided to worry about the bottom line as opposed to the basketball product during their, let's say, one best chance to win a title which is this season. My question, John, about these pick swaps. So there's 3 teams involved on some of these. Like there's this Wizards, Suns, Grizzlies in 2024 and 2030, and then Wizards, Magic, Suns in 2026. Can we get a 4th team involved? And what would the price be if you're being like, all right, we get the worst pick of 4 teams? Or like, I want the second worst pick of 4. Like, are the Suns going to be out there like, hey, man, just give us like, can you give us like $2 million? Just a little bit of cash.
I think the price is something more akin to what we should have paid for Marcus Smart, frankly.
You're just a hater. You're antagonizing the Grizzlies fans. I'm only antagonizing Portland fans and Suns fans. Those were our steak and eggs best.
Sometimes
things.
when you're injured, you flail about wildly.
Oh yeah, that's what you're doing. All right, John.
I think we're gonna be quite good. I think it's a nice pickup. I just hate helping other teams. I hate it.
The opposite of our steak and eggs is our cream of wheat worst thing. John, what's your worst thing?
Well, it's been an interesting era in American and human history where like kind of like the bullies like from high school are no longer winning in life. The guys whose greatest years were in high school, they're don't shine so brightly anymore. Kind of the nerds have won, which has its own negative ramifications, you know. Except in one case, Draymond Green, the bully amongst bullies, has somehow won in a way that you really just don't see anymore, where he has done everything wrong, continues to just do despicable thing after despicable thing, and doesn't even bother framing it in a way that is apologetic or contrite in any fashion, and just keeps getting what he wants and keeps getting to crow about it on podcasts, other people's podcasts, his own podcast, probably TNT. You know, it's just a lot, you know, we're going to talk about Steph Curry being underrated. I think Draymond Green is underrated as like one of the great like winners of all time, because I don't even know how he got away with it. How does he keep getting away with it? He
has been antagonizing Jordan Poole's dad on Twitter and basically threatening to beat him up. And but beyond that,
he's like fighting with fake Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, he got real mad at Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett got a fake NBA site banned from Twitter /X, X from X. I'm with you. Draymond keeps getting away with it.
Why are there never ramifications for the braying ass?
There were ramifications. Why? They lost last year because of bad workplace culture, right? They didn't get as far as they wanted. I don't know. He got paired with Chris Paul and Mike Dunleavy as his GM. These could be punishments.
Cosmically.
Like if I'm saying what would I do to punish Draymond Green? If I was coming up with some really nefarious torture, it might be to put him on a team with Chris Paul.
I hate it because like it's just going to continue, because to me, Chris Paul over Jordan Poole is such a massive upgrade too.
Yeah,
precisely what they need. So it's like, I
probably
don't want to say the rich get richer, because while that's certainly true, it's
similar wingspan, right. So Draymond can still punch him.
I mean, if he punched Jordan Poole, he's going to behead Chris Paul.
Speaking of that Saudi money, my worst thing, Sean, is Josh Minott, who is a kind of promising young player, had a good summer league for the Timberwolves, very active live wire, tweener, you know, but in summer league looked real good for the dunks and the scoring and the block shots. Josh Minott, who is not your not or our not, he's my not. He, however, turned me against him with this terrible news report, disturbing, frankly, news report. He blamed a bad performance in summer league because it was an early game and he hates breakfast food.
Yeah.
So he didn't have the same energy.
Well.
So Josh Minott, I am
invitation rescinded.
Yeah, you have declared war on us and our brand. All I can say is you're dead to me. Amir Coffee and Dwayne Bacon forever. That's where I stand. Josh Minott. Anyways, those were our worst things. Before we get to that kudos to me segment, John, we have a couple, maybe a few listener submitted questions. The croissant questioner.
Matt Connor asks, which NBA team will be the first to win a treble? For those who aren't in the know, the treble is a soccer term for winning the 3 major titles. In this case, we would be saying the Summer League title, the in-season tournament title, and the NBA championship.
I love the question.
I don't even know who won the Summer League title this year.
I was about to ask you if you knew who won.
Was it the Rockets?
Nope. They made it there, though. Good job.
Okay. Well,
Cam Whitmore was Summer League MVP.
Right. I knew that.
Wrongfully, where it should have been Sam Hauser.
Hauser.
The Cleveland Cavaliers won Summer League.
Well, it won't be them.
Honestly, John. So Cavaliers, they're what? They're like second tier contender status. They're like what, ninth most, just top of my head without thinking hard about it.
They got the stink on them for me right now.
But I would still say if I'm doing title odds, I'm going to put them somewhere between like 8th and 10th, maybe even higher. I don't know. They're in that range. They're a good team. They've already, obviously got one leg of the Triple Crown down. They could easily win the in-season tournament. All that's going to take is just a reasonably good team.
Right.
So I think they have a good shot. I do think this will be fun to monitor. It's going to be hard to do. We've had good teams. We had the Warriors win a Summer League title a couple years ago. The Grizzlies won a Summer League title a couple years ago.
Well, to me, I think the obvious one would be the Spurs. They're in a perfect position for it.
The Spurs aren't even trying.
Yeah, but I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon. Yep. And the Spurs typically have, draft well, have strong prospects. Oh, dang it. You know what? They don't care about.
They don't care about
the ones who sit people. Yeah. They're the ones who sit people for televised games.
Well, the problem with Summer League now, Spurs. Summer League used to have a legit tournament. Now it has a fake tournament.
Yeah.
Now it has using point differential, we picked 4 teams to play 2 more games. It used to have a beautiful bracket and everything. And teams are just like, listen, we don't want to compete in the summer. The downside of someone getting hurt is not worth anyone ever playing. And so this is where we got to the stakes problem. There's no stakes in the Summer League. So I think what you got to do is you got to find a team that cares about the small PR victory of Summer League. So that's never going to be normally your team's drafting at the top. That's going to be your Sacramento Kings from a couple years ago. Can we work up hey, Keegan Murray used that momentum of Summer League to get the Kings in the playoffs for the first time ever? I don't know. Something like that. But I do hope teams value. It'd be better if they valued the Summer League title a little bit more. I know.
Thunder.
Yeah, Thunder are a good one. But I don't think you're going to find a team with better title odds than the Cavs. We need to get a really awesome, like a Warriors team. A Lakers team could even do it. I feel like the Lakers, honestly, they normally, I feel like, try to show out in the Summer League.
They try to show out in everything. They care about
their brand. They care about rings. And hey, I think they might do it. This is, I know you're not as interested in Summer League as maybe many are. I'm
interested.
You're interested, but you're not obsessed about it. And one of my favorite things about Summer League is they're always very interesting, fun names. And we've done this several years. We've done various versions of this game, and it's a little bit more awkward, just one on zero. But John, let's do a game of scones.
Okay,
what's that song? Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage. All right, so this game of scones, I'm not sure how totally familiar you are going to be with some of these Summer League players' names. I also don't know how closely you know character names from the Netflix series Peaky Blinders.
Not at all.
So here's the game, John. Peaky Blinders character or someone who played in Summer League.
All right.
Peaky Blinders or Summer League. That's all you got to answer.
This could be catastrophic.
We're going to go rapid fire because there's no one to play against. Angelo Allegri.
Peaky Blinders.
That's Summer League. Frank Bartley 4.
Frank Bartley the 4th?
Yeah.
Summer League.
That's Summer League, correct. Billy Grade.
Oh, Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. Billy Kitchen.
Peaky Blinders.
Savion Flag.
That's Summer League.
Amazing. Chance Comanche.
Summer League.
Leaky Black.
That's Summer League.
Well done. Frankie Ferrari.
Summer League.
Michael DeVoe.
Peaky Blinders.
Still Summer League.
No!
John, that's a great run you were on. John Shelby.
Peaky Blinders.
Well done. Aberama Gold. Aberama Gold.
Summer League.
No, Peaky Blinders.
Wow, I like Aberama. Is that Tom Hardy?
I have no, he's a Shelby, I believe.
Is that Tom Hardy in a fat suit, please?
Isaiah Jesus.
Summer League.
Peaky Blinders.
Wow. Okay.
DJ Hogg. DJ Hogg.
Summer League.
It is. That is not Chuck's performing name.
Oh man.
It should be.
Yeah.
You did great. I didn't cross these out as I go, so I'm nervous to double back. Did we do Tiger Campbell?
Peaky Blinders. I know Summer League. He played at UCLA.
Yeah, I don't know where he played, but he played Summer League.
Yeah,
you did, John. You did amazing. That was Summer League guy or Peaky Blinders character name. You were amazing. You hit like 75% or something. That was
analyzing generative AI gives you a leg up on some of these real life versus fake life things.
Oh, amazing. All right, what's another question? We had another question?
We did. Let me jump back in here. Apologies. Magnus asks, how does @Keith Parrish feel about asking the press conference question that may have sparked the Grizzlies developing charge drills in practice?
I feel good. It was a good content moment for me. It was a good relationship moment. I got some smiles and laughs from Marcus Smart and Taylor Jenkins. This is just called the world is terrible. You have to embrace the things around us to get ahead. This is like my father-in-law doesn't like using credit cards because he's like, they're dishonest and they're cartels. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. There's no question.
It's also the only way you can travel.
It's also the only way you can like American Express and Visa. They're already the cartels taking all the money. If you don't participate, they're still going to take all the money. If you participate, they give you a tiny piece back.
Does he know about points?
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, it's wrong. I agree. It's wrong. But the economy is now run by these cartels and the NBA is run by these charges and flopping. And yes, they're now having new flop rules. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm dubious, but it is what it is. I'm going to have to embrace that we're now a charge drawing team. And I'm going to have to,
we are the charge drawing team.
Will we still be good? We might double our charges, literally.
I think Marcus Smart alone is good for, I think we're quadding up.
Yeah. I think he did like 14 last year and the Grizzlies took 18. So it'll work. Let's do one more question.
Are you wanting me to do this very niche one for me?
Do the very niche one. We'll blow right through it. Yeah.
Okay. Jacob Potter asks, this is one for me. What outraged you more, the trade for Marcus Smart or finding out that people enjoyed the movie Palm Springs? As usual, Jacob Potter has conflagrated and escalated something. I was not outraged and left the Patreon channel about movies, or Patreon only Slack channel about movies,
right?
Because people merely enjoyed the Palm Springs movie, which, if I even can remember this right, was like Andy Samberg being Groundhog Day. I think that was it.
Andy Samberg's in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I left that channel because they were discussing whether or not it was Best Picture material. And also, it's just a breaking point. Like, it's a channel about movies, and we're talking about Groundhog Day remakes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to realize this fertile soil, it's not where my seed can take purchase. These aren't the films I want to discuss.
See, and that is a life lesson learned through maturity and experience.
Right. Sometimes the only way to win is to not play the game.
I tried to watch the Palm Springs and made it about 8 minutes. I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not from. What is this? This is like
when people ask,
is this for the streaming generation?
Why are you asking me this?
Yeah, I kept being like, is this for the TikTokers? I don't know what I'm watching.
It's just not for me. It's like I participate in most of the Slack channels. I would say the overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
The two that I don't participate are the two in the businesses that I happen to work in, which is movies and music.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? I do
That's
this
fair.
stuff for a living. I don't want to do it for fun. And I certainly don't want to hear about how an Andy Samberg remake of Groundhog Day is the best movie of the year. I'm not the bad guy here. You guys are the baddies.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. And
but
that
I'm
was
still madder about Marcus Smart.
So yeah, well played. No, great question. If you guys out there want your questions to be answered on air or as part of the returning Millennial Brunch $500 croissant bonus episodes, you got to be a Patreon supporter. Also, Patreon supporting is the best way to keep the show going. Also, it's the only way to play fantasy basketball with us, and there will be a little exclusive bonus content for you. So patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. If you were one of those who were like, you guys are state media, I'm not giving you my money, good news.
Come home.
We're independent, baby. We can criticize whoever we want to. Come on home. Patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, John. No awards segment this week. No International Stackhouse of Pancakes, but we can do a kudos to me. A kudos to me in honor of our dearly departed Dylan Brooks, who got 5 assists in a game and said, I'm doing a better job of passing the ball. Kudos to me. What is something, you said you had something earlier. What's your kudos to me? What's something that you would like to compliment yourself for?
So on a recent episode, I think I brought up Carson Edwards being a summer league hero, and I think there was some.
I had pushback that maybe he was terrible. Yeah.
For the 2019 NBA Summer League season, averaged a team high 19.4 points, 3.8 rebounds, and might have wanted more than this, 1.4 assists and 23.4.
He's a gunner, not his game.
Yeah. But I feel like
good job.
Like I remembered correctly for once.
You remember correctly. Kudos to you. Here's a kudos to me, non-basketball related. I can't remember if I talked about this on the show with you or if it was with a guest or who knows. Doesn't matter. And canonically in the show on air,
we're all the same.
I talked about how my goal for the summer was to beat level 25 in Dr. Mario. And if you don't know, Dr. Mario ends at level 20. Like you can pick to play at any moment. You can pick to play level 0 to 20. Once you beat level 20, there's like a little celebration, a little cut scene. This is the original Nintendo version, 8-bit Nintendo. There's a cut scene, but there is a level 21. But if you lose at level 21, it docks you back down to level 20. So I'm like, oh, there's a cut scene between every 5 levels, like level 5, level 10, 15, 20. If you beat those, there's a cut scene. What if there's a cut scene at level 25? And so with no margin of error, because if you lose, you get kicked back down. I'm like, I want to beat level 25 and see if there's a cut scene, see what happens. So I did it, John. Kudos to me. I beat level 20, level 21, level 22, level 23, level 24, and then level 25 without failing. Now, what happened? Nothing happened. Worse, after beating level 25, I realized the screen said I was on level 24. I'm like, that's not right. I've won 5 straight.
Better than a new ending. This is like a glitch.
There's no way. So it turns out, and I believe you told me, or whoever the other host was that on that day, was saying that, hey, just Google it and find out. I'm like, I'll be real. I did try to Google it.
I would never say that.
Well, okay, thank you.
I am no user no guide.
Well, this is like I was playing.
I can no longer beat video games.
I was playing Tecmo Super Bowl, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember being capped on rushing yards. And it turns out you are capped on rushing yards. So that was something
I didn't know that. That's
How
many yards did you get with Christian Okoye, sir?
I can't remember. It's like 4,100 is like the most rushing yards you can get. And so then I had to manually tabulate. So now I'm like doing manually tabulations. This is what I do with my life now, guys.
Tecmo Super Bowl is still the best sports game of all time. It's still the best.
But anyways, Dr. Mario, when you use level 24, it just loops level 24. Just loops level 24. So
that's interesting.
So kudos to me. I accomplished my goal of beating level 25. I did not accomplish my goal of being a full-time podcast employee, but more importantly, accomplished my goal of beating level 25. Dr. Mario, it doesn't exist. Final answer. Sorry if that's a spoiler for any of you guys out there who were on a similar pursuit and refused to Google it. It turns out we're just living much like Andy Samberg in the film Palm Springs. We're just reliving level 24 over and over and over and over.
I know I wasn't supposed to watch the chat in the simulcast.
Oh,
I'm being told that there is a cutscene. It's in another castle.
Yeah, they're wrong. Yeah, we're simulcasting this on playback right now, which is something we're going to try to keep doing in the future. Sorry if you missed it live. You'll have to, go to YouTube and
For
watch
some
it.
reason, my face is really huge on that one, which
Yeah,
is
it's pretty
causing
amazing.
me to have some body dysmorphia issues. So maybe we won't do this ever again. We'll see.
John, par fadeaway. What thing are you looking forward to? This can be basketball related. This can be the murky future of podcasting related. What thing are you looking forward to?
I would say mostly more Patreon content. That's been an area that was always fun. What am I looking for here?
You didn't even
know a sphere to play in.
You didn't even know it had been stamped out. That's just news to you. Amazing.
I am not a Patreon supporter. That is true.
I know.
I did wonder where the croissant episodes went.
You're inside the sphere.
That's
right. You're the person. It's like that Spider-Man movie where they go inside all the drones and the yeah.
I might as well be like at Fastbreak Breakfast Chat GPT, where I'm just something that Keith talks to pass the time. not actually aware of any of the goings on.
Bouncing. You're prompting, and I'm bouncing off of your prompts. Here's what I'm looking forward to.
Where's Chuck?
It's no idea. It's basketball specific. I've been going back and watching some clips of Summer League stuff. I've been reading people who were there who are better at evaluating talent than me. And here's the thing I think I'm most excited about after Summer League. It's the Thompson Twins. It is. I think I watched the one I'm in Thompson game in person, but he twisted his ankle. I watched Asar Thompson a few times. I've gone back and watched Asar Thompson stuff. I think those guys are incredible.
Yeah, the Asar clips look amazing, at least as good as Amen's.
I mean, those dudes, and this is my comp that just wildly reckless. They struck me as like a Sean Marion who can dribble and pass. Just like they could do everything. There's steals and blocks, and they were great reboundings. They were great quick jumpers, and they like got up and down the court. And like,
I just don't know how much value are you getting if they're not on the same team. Let's be real.
If you
can't execute twin magic, if you can't do the fake tags with the masked twin wrestler thing,
who would have the best package? I mean, could Cade Cunningham for Amen Thompson straight up? Jabari Smith for Asar Thompson. They wouldn't do it. No. But one of those teams should and could. You're very right. You've convinced me immediately.
Right.
Rockets or Pistons should or could. Both of them stock full of young prospects.
Ever since the O'Bannon boys, I've been like, you need both these guys so you can trick them.
I mean, the Morris twins, they tried it. We got the Lopez's. They're on the same team right now. They can maybe get Robin looking a little bit more like Brooke. I think Asar Thompson and Amen Thompson are going to be amazing. Like once again, you're absolutely right. I think they're going to be awesome. Also, I'm gonna seek them out in fantasy basketball. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to try to get both Thompsons on my fantasy basketball teams. I am ecstatic for what those guys are going to bring in the NBA. And I can't wait to see how that turns out and how perhaps underwhelming and damaging their 32% field goal percentage is going to be for my categories fantasy league. But anyways, that's the show. If you want to support us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. It's cool again. Try out Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code FBBF, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Thanks you guys for listening. And remember, you guys are the best. That's how it goes. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.